Hello. I would have started this project or started filming this project straight away, but I kind of didn't know where I was going with it. So I'll film it from now just to see how it turns out. This is an experiment. What I want to do is to start filling my little cabinet that I made. And the first thing I wanted in there was wing of bat. So what I did was I drew a rough wing shape of a bat, obviously, and then just put the bare bones onto it. So they'd be this way round. So that will be my bat wings, like that. Okay, and I've baked them already in the oven. And this is a mix of polymer clay and, well, yeah, different brands of polymer clay. It was black, and then it was loads of other colours that I had mixed together, and I coloured it with acrylic paint. So that's where that come from. So this is a craft sheet, and this is how I want the wings to be. Now I want them to look old and tatty, and I thought rather than make bits in between, I would use some netting. Now this is quite fine netting, but hopefully this will work. Fingers crossed again. So, and I'm going to need some clear glue. I could use latex. I know quite a few people have been using latex for this, and I do have some latex, but the trouble with latex is it stays sticky, and I don't want that stickiness. So would have if I had a sharp pair of scissors, but I don't. So my first job will be to cut a piece of netting. And I think what I'm going to do, like I said, this is on the fly now. What shall I use? I have Gorilla Glue Clear. I also have Gorilla Wood Glue. Now I know wood glue does make it really good. And it does dry clear. It does make a really good bond. So what I might do, I think, is use Gorilla Glue if I can get the thing open. Okay, I got it a bit too open. Okay, and the easiest way I find to do this is just to squeeze out probably a bit more than what I need, but ooh. And a brush. You think I would have been organised. Found one. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these over, because I know that this was the side that was down on the, I actually baked it on paper. And the reason I'm using the craft sheet obviously is because the glue just lifts off, and I can, anything that goes over I can just cut away from the edge of the glue if it goes over. Oh well, let's make a right mess of this, why not? Okay, bring this down a bit, I think. There we go, 1, 2, and then I'm just going to lay this on it. And then I think I'm just going to go over the whole thing with glue. And then what I'm going to do, I think, is fold this over and put something heavy on it. So I don't really want it to stick on that, but so all I'm going to do, paint this on like that, and then wait for it to dry. And when it's dry, I will be back. This might not work. Of course, if it doesn't, you'll probably never see it. So what I'm going to do is fold this over the here. You see, this is my messy side. And then it's something heavy, but not too heavy. So this is just paper and what else is in there? Tyvek. I'm going to put that on top of there, and I'm going to leave that for a couple of hours and see if it dries okay. Okay, as you can see, they're not dry yet. What I did is I turned them over. I cut another bit of the netting. Now the first lot of netting was laid this way. You see it stretches this way. The second piece of netting I laid this way, or the other way around. But either way, that they were laid in separate directions because there's more stretch one way than the other. Put more glue on it, and I'm not worried about the separation. You can see the air bubbles here, here and down here. I'm not worried about that as long as there are no air bubbles in between the bones of it. Now that's going to take at least 12 hours to dry. So I will be back very much later, and unfortunately I'm going to have to waste that bit of glue. Never mind. Okay, I'm trying to get this into focus. What I've decided to do, I'm going to do another set of wings another way. So as I'm doing another set, I thought I would start from the very beginning. So I've conditioned my clay, which just means, you know, making it nice and soft, nice and blended. And I've got my roughly the same wings. So all I do, measure, that's going to go there. So from there, I'm going to pinch a bit. Trouble is, this clay is very well conditioned and it's sticking to itself, which is slightly annoying, but it's not going to show too much. So like I say, I am very heavy-handed. I'm not particularly good with clay, but I get there. So I really should get my tools out and start using my tools, but okay, so one, like I said, this is just roughly drawn, no special requirements needed. I mean, if you want to, you could that's supposed to be there. You could oh, my brain's going, print out something from the internet, you know, and just flip it in MS Paint or whatever people do these days. Okay, so that's my talon claw. See, very well conditioned. It doesn't want to do as it's told. I think I'm doing this right way around. Yeah, right. So this is all I'm doing is laying out if it goes. The clay. That's going there. That was not clever. So roughly chopping it in half. And then adding. So that I know that each piece that I use on each wing is going to be roughly the same width. And all my joins go from that one spot. Okay, last one. Don't know what I've done with all my tools, so I want it about there, I think. As long as they're both roughly the same, that should be fine. Whoops. Okay. That one needs to be slightly shorter, I think. So we just nip it off and roll it. Nip it off. And roll it. Okay. As you can see, I'm not following the pattern exactly. I'm just, as long as I do the same to each one, so that they are a pair. Right, let's get this one. I am all fingers and thumbs. Okay. Like I said, as long as you make them the same-ish, it'll be fine. It's not as if they have to be an exact matching pair. They're not going on display anywhere where they're going to be shown to be different. You know, they're just going to be hanging up in a little curio box. So when you've got them how you want them, pop them in the oven, give them a bake. and I think that is how I want them. Looks about even. So, and I will bake that straight onto the paper. No messing about. Probably. Okay, so for the second set, I think that's where I want them. I'm going to go and bake these. So I'm back with these bits. They haven't long been out of the oven, but as you can see, they're not bad. I mean, they're not an exact match, but they're not bad. Okay, so now I'm going to need something plastic. I've only got one of these sheets, so I'm going to be using this. And I don't know why I didn't think of this before. Lots and lots of tissue paper. So tissue paper. Now you could use white and then use a mixture of blue and black paint. Okay, so I want to make sure that right, so I'm going to glue it once again on the side that was on the baking surface. And what glue do I want to use? Something quick drying. Mod Podge. Mod Podge. Okay. So I'm going to take my glue, my Mod Podge, I'm going to hold on to it by the little hook bit here, and I'm just going to paint almost up to the edge of the bones here. Then I'm going to stick it down. Same for this one. So not quite up to the edge. And then stick it down. Oh, that one's gone a bit over, isn't it? Put that over the top just for a second. Give it a bit of a squash. Because I want that to be quite well stuck down. Right, next I'm going to wait for that to dry a little bit more, I think. Right, I'm going to put that over there and put something slightly heavy on it. And when that's dried off a little bit, I'll be back. Okay, that is quite dry now. Oh, you can see my reflection. Okay, and all I've got here is another brush and a little bit of water. So I want here, here, here and here, and around the edges. And all this is to tear the paper off, because I don't want to cut it. Okay, I'm just going to grab anything I've got. I'm just going to tear it away. Don't know how well that is stuck down just yet, so of course you could spend more time doing this. You don't want to rush it like I am. Oh, that's moved it. That's not good. Brush. So I'm just moistening it just to get the paper off. And obviously I have to be quite careful because it is slightly delicate. Okay, I'm going to need that paper again in a minute. I'm not too bothered where it's broken there because that can be mended. I want to get that sort of shape going. So I just want to sort of like tear out these bits. So you've got that real raggedy shape, like I said before, with the material, the netting. I want it to look ragged. Of course you could, if you prefer, just glue this down and then cut carefully round. Okay, so next, back with the brush. And the Mod Podge, and then no, I don't want it there. Oh, I'll probably be able to get that bit off. That's so clever. So all I want to do now is just paint with the glue. Like that. Just going to get that bit off there. Hopefully that'll be okay. Then take the paper again, lay it over and give it a good squash. And once again, you want to leave this to dry, which will take slightly longer than usual because you do have obviously the water on the edge if that's the way you did it. So you can see I've pressed that down. I want a little bit of creasing in there, not too much, but I don't want it to be perfectly flat. I want a little bit of movement, if you like, so it looks more leathery. Cut that off there, because I may use this again and have another layer. Right, that once again now needs to dry. My camera stopped recording, so luckily I should be able to get show you most of what happened. So I put an extra layer onto this one and just pressed it together. Okay, that's all that happened. Okay, this has been 14 hours, and as you can see, it's still not quite dry, but it's just a matter of cutting it out. You can see in places where the glue's not quite dry. It will dry. You can see it's a little bit white there, but it will dry. So this one, it's just a matter of cutting out very close. So you want quite a sharp pair of scissors. And just cut round. Now if you cut round, oh, the glue's still damp. Cut round on one side, turn it over and then redo it, because you'll find that there's bits missed. It may be easier if you use a slightly smaller pair of scissors. I'm just not used to small scissors. Right, get into that bit there, and then over the top here. I'm going to do that roughly for the minute because this is, like I said, it's not quite dry. Then for the little hook here, which I think I put a notice up on the top there, these are supposed to be facing that way. They're not supposed to be curled this way. This little talon bit is supposed to be curling the opposite way. Silly me. But it's okay. I don't mind. I can be different. What you want to do is to separate these bits, and you can just peel these back off the clay. Now, of course, if you wanted to, I suppose you could use wire for this if you have black wire, but obviously you get the especially for this one where it's quite transparent. It's nice to have that the effect the clay gives you to make it look like sort of like the bones of an animal. As you can see, it's quite easy to peel off, which you'll have to bear in mind as you work with the rest of it, that it will peel. So you get the gist of that. You just go over and cut round very carefully. And then decide how you want the wings to be, the shape of the wings here. So you just, I think that one's gone in a bit too far, but that's okay because I like the tatty effect. So you don't have to sort of like do an arch as such, a little concave bit. You could just follow the line of the glue and make it really tatty. But you get the gist. So one pair of bat wings here with the netting. Now there's this one. So once again, you need to very carefully cut round. Teaching my grandmother to suck eggs, I suspect, because we all know how to do this. Like I said, this isn't to look like a real bat wing. It's not for anything professional. It's to hang in a little curio cabinet to make it look like it's wing a bat. Okay, and this one I should just be able to right. Now I want to do this bit. I want to take off the excess here to give it the shape of a bat wing. So all I'm going to do is use the water technique again. And then when it's soaked through enough, I can just tear it. And it's easier to do this. Don't take off too much. Take it off a little bit and then a little bit again. Rather than try and go for the full effect first time round. And if you need to, grab something that's just got an edge to it that you can just pull it with. Until you get the effect you want. Now when you've finished, you could go over with glue if you wanted to. which will strengthen it, of course. But I like the matte effect. I don't want it to be all shiny. There, I think I'm happy with that. There we go. Bat wings to hang in my cabinet. There we go. And like I said, they will be going in my curio cabinet. Oh, he's lost his jaw again. This was an experiment I had with air dry clay, and I think I don't like air dry clay very much. It's not the medium for me. I prefer polymer clay. I think you have to be a bit of an expert to use air dry clay. So there we go. Bat wings. And when these are dry, these will be better. You won't see this little bit here. And like I said, you can gloss them over or use a matte thing. But if they look quite leathery as they are, and they should be strong enough just to hang in a little cabinet. There. So there you go, something a little bit different to carry on with the little curio cabinet, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.